Check this out.
I hate to break it to you, but I've seen that before. It's a magic trick. It's not a myth.
This isn't, but there's a video that's been making the rounds on the web that is a twist to this trick that I think is right up our alley.
And that is?
In this clip, a table as long as a bus and set for a banquet has its tablecloth pulled out from under all its settings without disturbing any of them, using only the power of a super souped up motorcycle.
Ah, now you're talking.
Thought you'd like it.
In this viral video, rather than a quick flick of the wrist, it's a quick flick of the accelerator. And abracadabra, the tablecloth disappears, and a perfectly laid table remains. But is this turbocharged trick true, or just special effects sorcery?
So what's the plan?
Well, since this is in fact a trick that people do every day, I think we should spend some time unpacking the mechanics of exactly what makes it work.
Small scale test down on the floor of the shop?
Exactly. We want to figure out how to do this trick, how to pull a tablecloth and leave things on the table standing upright. But we don't just want to learn the trick, we want to learn the why of the trick. Gotta put some stuff on it first. We're going to scale this up to a fairly impossible dimension, and I suspect that a lot of factors, object heaviness, cloth type, table type, all of these things might affect our success on that scale. Thus, in the small scale, we need to learn what factors are critical to making it work.
And with the table laid, Adam can focus on his hocus pocus.
Dude, are you ready?
I'm all ready.
Well, there's a vote of confidence. Tablecloth pull in 3, 2, 1. Oh!
That wasn't bad for a first try.
That was not bad for a first try. Okay, it's still pretty bad for a first try.
Not bad, but clearly there are some tricks to this trick. So next, it's time for Adam to button those down.
The table jumped all over the place. I think we can address that with a simple sandbag. 2, when I feel this, it's plywood. It's pretty rough. I think we can make it smoother before continuing, like this. Now we're ready.
With a smooth, stable table covered with a fresh cloth and a single bottle, there's one final thing Adam needs.
I want to know if this moves. I have an idea.
To monitor how much the wine moves, he makes a point.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Same thing.
Maybe it's the way I'm pulling.
But that point isn't required until eventually Adam gets the grip.
Hey! All right, now what did I do right?
Well, Newton's first law of inertia means that objects at rest stay at rest. But when the cloth is pulled, friction also acts on the objects. However, if the inertia is greater than the friction, the tablecloth is whipped free. But that's not the only reason the trick has started to work.
I think I've got something, which is the tablecloth has to end at the table. It can't be draping over. If it's draping over, too much noise is created and it wants to pull the bottle over. But when it's at the edge, it seems to leave the bottle standing. Now I want to play with some other fabrics.
Yep, the speed of the pull and position of the cloth are both important parameters. So next, will the type of fabric make a difference?
5/8 of an inch.
Using the high-speed camera and his pointer,
7/16.
Adam can assess just how much the bottle moves with a range of fabrics.
This one's no good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's lovely, but it's no good for this trick. That right there, that's a 1/4 inch. That's the best one yet. I had assumed that a heavier satin fabric would actually be best for sliding underneath the objects on the table, when in fact, the lighter weight ones are outperforming everybody. Moreover, they're outperforming them when the shiny side is down rather than up. Who would have thought?
It turns out the lightweight satin has this category sewn up, making it the best-case scenario fabric for large scale. But there's one more parameter to test.
I find myself wondering if weight is a factor, and so I plan to remove some from this bottle.
In theory, the more mass an object has, the greater its inertia.
Don't worry, we only waste the cheapest wines.
So reducing the weight of the bottle could work against Adam.
Empty bottle and my favorite fabric. 3, 2, 1.
But it doesn't. Because there's also a corresponding drop in the friction of the bottle on the tablecloth. And when you combine all the factors of the tablecloth tug,
3, 2, 1.
Wow,
Yeah,
that works.
I know! So what did we learn here? Well, we learned how to do the trick. I think we graduated. But we also learned some of the critical factors. One, most importantly, the tablecloth needs to be sheer, lightweight, and have no stretch in either dimension. 2, the tablecloth's placement is critical. It can't go over the edge of the table. It needs to be right up to it. And 3, the objects don't have to be very heavy. They actually can be quite light, and it still could work. And that tells me that this might actually work.
I think Adam has this stunt down, but it's one thing to do this by hand with a small table with just a couple things on it. It's another thing to do this with a motorcycle, and yet another thing to do this with a motorcycle and a really big table. We've got our work cut out for us.
What?
the MythBusters are updating the traditional tablecloth tug because of this viral video.
Now in the video, it looks like the location they're filming in is some kind of large, long military warehouse type building. Luckily, in San Francisco, we've got a few of those. This is the Festival Pavilion at Fort Mason. Originally built by the Army in 1915, it is the location where we filmed Bullet Drop versus Fire, and for our tablecloth pull, I think it's the perfect match for the video.
Not only is the warehouse a perfect match to the video, it's also got plenty of space for our Easy Rider. So, let the turbocharged trickery begin.
Let me tell you about the bike we're going to use. This is my personal sport bike. It's an 1125R DSB made by Eric Buell Racing. It weighs 390 pounds. It puts 150 horsepower to the rear wheel. It does 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds and the quarter mile in 9.8 seconds. It tops out about 180 miles an hour. If we can't pull this off, it won't be because the bike's not fast enough.
That's the supercharged bike, and now they need a super-sized table.
Where do you get one of those? Well, I'm about to build it right here. When I'm done, we're going to cover it with a tablecloth and 24 place settings, which should allow the Miss Manners approved 2 foot from guest to guest. Even though our guests are non-existent, we like to hold to Miss Manners.
And with Adam's 24-foot table almost finished,
Plastic wood grain, when nothing but the second best will do.
he then turns his attention to the tablecloth.
I want to be able to pull this tablecloth evenly, so I'm going to put a pipe at the end of it, just like we see in the video. But the fact that this seam is super parallel to the entire tablecloth is quite critical to an even pull across everything. I hope I've achieved it.
The final step is the table decoration. First with a cloth of lightweight satin, and on top of that, well,
This is one place setting. We need 23 more, which means we're going to need some help. That's what they're here for.
Adam's elves make quick work of the table laying, copying the video as closely as possible. And with the motorcycle hooked up, time for some predictions.
I'm of two minds about this thing. Part of me really wants to see it succeed. The other part is looking forward to the horror show of everything hitting the ground, especially on high speed. I can't tell which I want more.
We've set this whole thing up exactly like it was in the video. So if the video wasn't faked, when I take off, only the tablecloth is coming with me. Personally, nah, it's not going to happen.
Well, with the table dressed for dinner and Jamie's need for speed, there's only one way to find out.
So let's recap. We determined in small scale that it is in fact possible to remove a tablecloth under items sitting on a table without any trickery. It's just technique. The question is it possible to do it when your table has 24 place settings on it? That's what we're about to determine.
Yep, and here's a reminder of how it's supposed to look. But now, to find out if the MythBusters can pull this off.
It's all set up. You ready to ruin Christmas dinner?
I can't wait.
Uncle Jamie always does that. Get started. Monster tablecloth pull, just like the video. Go! Well, some stuff stayed on the table.
Abracadabra that, eh? Despite Jamie gunning the accelerator on the superbike, it wasn't enough to overcome the friction of 24 table settings.
Oops.
This is why we can't have nice things.
I guess so.
What a horror show.
I left some of them on the table.
That's exactly what I said. The glass is half full.
This trick worked exactly like it did in the small scale, at least for a couple of settings. The problem was the other 22 pretty much got destroyed. The thing is that these first two settings only had a couple of feet of cloth to deal with. Everything from here down had much more cloth that had to clear underneath it to do the job, and that meant that it all started to move, and a lot of it moved right onto the floor.
It's starting to look like the spectacular tablecloth strip of the video clip could be a lot more complicated than it seems.
Clearly, we got to do that again.
We got to clean up first.
Yeah, well, he who made the mess gets to clean it up. See you in a couple hours.
In this viral video, the motorcycle takes off and takes the tablecloth with it. But after one tragic magic trick, it's looking more like a mission improbable.
Well, that was just the horror show that I was looking for. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is going to work at all. But if it is, if there's any chance of it working, I see that there's two major problems that we've got to solve. One is there's a lot of weight on that tablecloth. I mean, one of the reasons I think the small, light, thin tablecloth works so well on the small scale is because it got out of the way. When you got heavy weight on it, it's harder for it to get out of the way. Second is that tablecloth has to start moving faster from the get-go. It needs more of a big jerk. I'm not talking about Jamie, I'm talking about some slack in the rope so he gets up to speed and then boink, pulls it out at speed. That's what we gotta do.
That's the plan. So first, Adam gets rid of that excess weight. And just like any diet, cutting out booze is a good start.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Then with the lighter table settings back in place, the next step is to give this trick enough rope.
Here we are.
200 feet.
200 feet of line should give us the big jerk that this friction versus inertia test depends on for success.
This right here is 200 feet of nylon line coiled so that it cannot get tangled. What will happen is, I will say, okay, pulling the tablecloth out from under the table with 200 feet of line, go! Jamie's gonna take off on his bike. And this rope is going to spool out all 200 feet of it until he reaches the end where he's gonna tug on this with about 50 to 60 miles per hour worth of force, whatever that is. And I gotta say, I don't think it's gonna help.
And while Adam is skeptical of the full table strip, Jamie has a case of worst-case scenario-itis.
This time around, the rope is going to pull taut, the bike's going to stop, and I'm going to keep going straight into the wall.
Well, time to find out who will survive this tablecloth tug of war. The table settings or the Hyneman?
Go!
As Jamie throttles the throttle, the line unspools and...
That was so much closer than I thought it would be.
Once again, the magic doesn't happen. But this time around, there was a lot less destruction.
Clearly, we still need to do some work, but less than I thought.
You can see the difference between this run and the last run. Most of the dishes are still on the table, and not only that, they're not broken. What that tells me is that we're on the right track, but of course, we can do better.
Look at that!
It's a little sloppy, but it's a lot better than it was the last time.
I'd say 90% of what we had stayed on the table. I mean, it all got tipped over, but it stayed on the table. That's a lot closer than I thought we'd be.
Well, you know what that means?
What?
I just need to go faster.
I'm not sure if speed is the only fix, but definitely speed will help. How fast do you think we want to go?
100 miles an hour.
You're gonna need like a quarter mile to get up to that speed.
Let's go find a quarter mile.
Okay.
When magic works, it makes you believe the impossible is possible. But so far, this tablecloth takeoff looks like it could be just smoke and mirrors. So the MythBusters have come to Alameda to find out if they can pull this one off at 100 miles per hour.
Show off! Tablecloth pull 101. We tried it in scale in the shop and learned that you need a thin tablecloth with no hem and a good sharp pull. So then we went into a warehouse and we tried replicating exactly what we saw in the video, and this happened. Then we thought, what if we pulled the tablecloth much faster? So we added 200 foot of rope between the motorcycle and the tablecloth. Jamie got up to about 50 miles an hour, and this happened. But we wanted to know what it would take to do it for reals. So the table is set. Jamie is warming up the motorcycle, and in a few minutes, we're gonna try the world's biggest tablecloth pull.
But before they do that, first they need to find out just how long it will take Jamie to get up to speed on his bike.
Woo! Wah! 91. 97, ladies and gentlemen. 200 yards will be the length of the rope we attached between Jamie's motorcycle and our tablecloth. It will be leaving the table at 100 miles an hour, or something else catastrophic will happen.
And to prevent China carnage, increasing the speed is not the only change they're making today.
We've considered that one of the biggest stresses on the tablecloth for the success of this effect is the overall weight of everything on this table, and thus we've reduced it by at least half. We've replaced all the cast aluminum flower pots and champagne buckets with actually stainless steel ones with smoother bottoms. We've replaced all the ceramic plateware with plastic plateware. We're hoping that that lighter weight will actually make this much more possible.
Remember, this trick is a battle between inertia and friction. So reducing the weight of the table settings means the friction should decrease. That's the idea, but Jamie, for one, is still skeptical that this will work even at 100 miles per hour.
When I take off on this bike, 600 feet of line is going to pay out, and it's going to yank the tablecloth off the table at 100 miles an hour. Hopefully all the dishes will remain in place and intact. But what really is going to happen is hard to say. 100 miles an hour is awfully quick, but if the dishes just move a little bit and they stay upright, we're golden.
I still don't think it's going to work. Even with all this, I don't think it's going to work. But again, I'm usually wrong, so you should probably bet the opposite.
Well, with the preparations complete, it's the moment of truth.
You ready to do this?
Yep.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Possibly the world's biggest tablecloth pull in 3, 2, 1, go! Was the best attempt so far. And still we have destruction. But hey, I was right.
It's the closest they've come to success, with half the table intact.
Oh!
but the high speed reveals that there was a hitch.
We can tell by looking at the high speed that a rip occurred on the front corner of the table because the tablecloth is being pulled down slightly and the sharp square corner eventually made a little bit of a start of a rip and then it was all over. We can fix that.
It's a simple fix, and while Jamie takes the edge off, Adam whips up another tablecloth. And once the repairs are finished, the table is set for take 2.
All right, tablecloth pull with 600 feet of rope at 100 miles per hour. Mr. Hyneman, go!
Jamie gets up to 100 miles per hour. The line pulls and...
Oh, here it comes. Oh! Oh! I'm starting to think this isn't possible. Actually, I'm halfway through thinking this isn't possible. I'm almost finished thinking that this isn't possible.
Yep, because once again, the tablecloth was the weak link and ripped in half.
On the last round, everything was going great except for the tablecloth ripped right in the middle. So we're going back and yet again tweaking things. Hopefully it'll work this time.
A few tweaks, a brand new tablecloth, and another perfectly laid table later, and they're ready for attempt number 3.
Hope it works. Tablecloth pull, 600 feet of line, 100 miles an hour, Jamie, go! Well, that is certainly as good as it gets. Plate's still rolling. They faked it! Totally faked it!
They almost pulled that one off. But even a perfect run at 100 miles per hour still wasn't enough to leave the table intact.
That's not bad. Not bad at all. Everything slid, especially on the front half. We lost a few place settings. Most everything is still standing, but honestly, you know what I'm thinking?
What?
They faked it.
Yeah, they faked it. It's busted.
Yeah, totally busted.
Busted. But on MythBusters, that can only mean one thing.
That run wasn't half bad. In fact, it was pretty darn good, but it wasn't what we saw in the clip. So that's what we got to do next. We're going to have to fake it.
It's obvious that even at 100 miles per hour, this trick can't be done without devious deception. So it's back to where it all began, Fort Mason, for some tablecloth trickery.
So how do we fake this? Well, if the opening titles are correct, Jamie and I have a lot of special effects experience, and it's true we actually have an idea for how to fake this. It looks a little something like this. What's different about this setup than its predecessor? Actually, quite a lot. I started out by treating the entire tablecloth with a dry lubricant made for sailboat sails, and that should actually reduce its coefficient of friction. But most importantly, I then laid down on top of the tablecloth a sheet of plastic, 24 feet long, and mounted at the non-motorcycle end of the table. And then we set the table as normal. What this means is that between all the place settings on the tablecloth is a thin membrane on which everything sits. So the tablecloth should, in theory, slip out easy as you please without disturbing anything on the table. That's how I think they did it. Boy, I hope this works.
It'll work.
That's it. Let's try it. This is tablecloth pull, the cheat. 3, 2, 1, go!
This is it. Will they finally be able to pull a fast one and make the tablecloth disappear?
And that's how it's done.
Congratulations, we did it.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, we disturbed one fork and that was it.
I'll settle for that.
So will I.
Just like the Hollywood saying, you have to fake it till you make it. And that's mission accomplished.
Well, we replicated the results. Where does that leave the story, the myth?
There's no way they could have done this without faking it. It's busted.
I totally agree. It's busted. Let's get out of here.